Good day and welcome to the Sport Rep Show. I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraitha, updating you on the latest sports news. In today's stories making headlines, a delegation comprising of officials from Namibia and Botswana attended the just-ended Africa Cup of Nations to canvass support for their plans to co-host the 2027 Continental Football Showpiece. The Namibian delegation was led by Namibia Sports Commission CEO Freddie Muya. Deputy Sports Minister Emma Kantema Galmas was also seen in Cameroon, reportedly on invitation by CAF President Patrice Motsepe. Well, that was one of the stories that made headline, and people went on about it. That's on social media, questioning the amount that was spent on the event itself. Well, on to your second story. The Namibia Football Association this morning announced that 11 referees have gained full accreditation to handle international matches. The new FIFA referees are Willem Haitembu, Naftal Negongo, Samuel Mayele, Vistoria Shangula, Twanyuka Atsino. The assistant referees are Evelyn Lungemeni, Kanyanga Matthews, Alex Musibane, Cornelius Ndapewa, and Nevonga Matthews, as well as Festus Shaningwa. Referees Vistoria Shangula and Naftal Ngongo had to say to Sport Rep following their accreditation.
Mr. Nusiku, it is wonderful having you on the show. Well, another accreditation for you in the back, another big match for you coming. How do you feel about it?
It's an honor and I'm happy for it. It's an honor and I'm happy for it. It's an opportunity for us, especially the three of us that we are now on the way next week. I'm happy to be called to be the main referee for that match.
So it is. It's not the first time being accredited by FIFA. It has been going on for you. And how long will it go on before you can actually officiate a Women's World Cup?
It depends. So I need to work more extra hard for me to get there. Especially now we are struggling. We don't have a league in the country. So it's more fitness and then more focusing so that we can able to get that opportunity of the World Cup.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, Mr. Nekongo, you are now an international accredited referee. I mean, what a dream come true for you, having to be able to officiate international FIFA matches. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm feeling so good. I'm feeling for this opportunity I got. It was not easy.
Yes.
Came for a long way. And then now I'm feeling so good. I'm feeling so excited for this opportunity I got.
So what are some of the matches or tournaments that you would probably want to officiate in your career?
Okay, I want to find myself at the World Cup.
Wonderful, representing Namibia. We haven't had a referee there, right? You want to become the first one?
I want to become the first one.
Okay, so what are you going to do to achieve that dream?
At least I have to train more harder, and then I have to put more effort so that I can achieve that
goal. Thank you so much.
Welcome back. Those are the two referees among the 11 that were accredited by FIFA. Quite excited are they, and they hope to officiate that at the World Cup one day. We hope to see a Namibian at a World Cup because we have never had one before. Let's hope that they will be able to shine and officiate matches here on the African continent before they can actually dream about the World Cup. We know the World Cup is always a big ask, and you need to have all your professional levels activated. And now on to your next story. That's the Afrocat Lions. The Afrocat Lions Netball Club, Dimitri Bitler is confident that his players will possibly be able to regain full fitness in 3 weeks ahead of the 2022 netball season. The Lions have 3 teams that compete in the Super 10s and as well as the Premier League. Bitler's only major concern at this time is to have the players fit for the seasons. The fact that the club has acquired many new faces is said to be one of the reasons why they will need a proper briefing about the netball club philosophy and a tactical intel as well. We will go, let's see what Bitler had to say.
Well, Dimitri, it is indeed an important season for Afrocat Lions. I know that there's a lot of teams combined in that Afrocat Lions from the Super 10s and on. So, I'm sure you've spoken about the fitness levels at 78%. Just tell us, you mentioned something about tactical intel that you need to give the players. What did you mean by this?
We have a lot of structured play we want to fix. So there's a lot of structure and game management and so forth that we're working at, defense structures. So there's quite a lot of technical aspects that we're looking at that we need to fix for the upcoming season. So basically that is the biggest challenge now, and then obviously just polishing the skills and making sure that we are reducing the amount of mistakes and also to reduce the amount of turnovers and stuff like that. So we're quite busy with that. Fitness-wise, I think we are there. Not 100% match fit. I don't think we have had games, so match fitness is still not there. So that little part we still need to work on. But we have a few friendlies lined up with a male team, our own male team, and a few other male teams, and hopefully other clubs as well soon, probably by next week.
Okay, so going into the season, it will be all out for Afrocat Lions.
We'll always go all out. So every season for us is always all out. So we are definitely going all out this season, hoping to at least make it to the top 3.
Thank you.
Well, that is Dimitri Bitler, quite a passionate man about netball, and there he hopes that his Afrocat Lions will be able to roar this time around in the coming season. Well, Dimitri, we wish you all the best in your endeavors with your team as well. We will now go for a short break as our program Hard Talk looms on the other side of the break. Sit back and relax. Welcome back. In our Hard Talk segment, we sit with Namibia Football Association League Director Mabos Vries, who speaks about the professional aspects of football. He believes Namibia is around 4 to 5 years away from having a professional football set up. Sit back and enjoy.
For us to talk about a professional league, there are various components that we need to have. They need to be in place before we can talk about a professional league. Just to mention a few of them, you need infrastructure because clubs need to train full-time in the morning, in the afternoon, so there must be infrastructure. Secondly, your league itself must be a professional setup, which means that you need to have qualified people in your office in the various departments, trained people, people with the skills and the knowledge. Then it goes down to the clubs themselves should also have a professional setup. Now, when you talk about professional setup, we talk about administrative as well as technical. So we need qualified coaches, you need qualified administrators. Then you go further down and say, you talk about referees. You need referees that is qualified to officiate at those matches. Then you also need medics. Clubs need qualified medics. Your clubs need a doctor, they need physio, they need coaches. So, and then you go down to the security aspect. You need safety and security officers. So once we talk about a professional league, that means all those things should be in place. Then you can talk about a professional league.
Okay, so if you are saying at the moment in Namibian football, we don't have most of that in place.
Yes. Out of my experience, first of all, let me talk about the area where I'm involved when you talk about administration. Unfortunately, for the past years, we never developed football administrators. Most of the people are volunteers in our football, so that's already a minus to us. We need people that is trained, that will work full-time in football. It will be a career for them. Football will be a career. So those are the shortcomings that we are already facing.
Okay, but I wanted to ask, knowing that fine, we need this, all this, but what has been holding us back as Namibians to have that setup?
My observation, for the past years, the outcry was always, as long as we are playing football, everything is fine. But we never address the development aspect of our football to move the levels. So that is our challenge. Once we start talking about developing the required resources, human resources, then we can start talking about saying, okay, now we have a vision to have a professional league in the next 3 to 5 years. But if you only want to play football, even now, the outcry is about, let's play football, let's go to the pitch. But the pitch is the end result of what we are doing at administrator's level. So our focus should be, let's start developing administrators, referees, coaches, and so on. And then also start engaging the responsible institutions like the local authorities, the regional authorities, and the government to start assisting us to have proper infrastructure so that we can play football.
Wonderful. So in terms of, you were saying engaging this, I haven't heard you mentioning about funding in football itself. Isn't that one of the most important aspects, getting that sponsorships on board, getting more companies on board to sponsor, especially football?
You see, as long as you are not developing a product, what do you want to sell to the people? Sponsors wants to be associated with somebody, or with an institution which is credible, which is accountable, and so. So that means funding should be the end result. First of all, let's build the brand, and then you have something to sell to the sponsors. Sponsors are out there. They know the value of sports. They are waiting for us. So if we start with these things to get sponsors, it's the end result of what we're doing.
So that's harmony first.
Yes.
You have to sell a positive brand, and well, it has been quite difficult to sell a positive brand over the years for Namibian football. Are we heading in the right direction as we speak?
I will not say it was quite difficult for us. Our focus was wrongly placed. Our priorities was upside down. Yeah. So to play football doesn't say that to go to the field is playing, it's football. Football should start with administration. Get the required setups, and then you can talk about. But in the past, our focus was totally wrong. And once we change our focus, we say, colleagues, let's start developing a brand, and let's make sure that the following aspects are in place. Then it will not be an issue for us. And for us, I think, from my point of view, my opinion is that we can be professional in the next 3 to 5 years. Yeah, if we start pulling together in the right direction.
Okay, one of the things that one can ask as well is the relationship between the football body and the Ministry of Sports or the government. How important or crucial could that relationship be towards reaching professionalism?
Yes, we have different roles to play. As a FA, we are responsible for football administration, and the government is responsible to take care of communities. And one of the communities is the football community. So it's a responsibility of the government. One of the things that I can raise here is that if our national teams goes out, whose responsibility is it? It's government. Because we are going out with the government flag, the Namibian flag. That's the one we are carrying. Now, if the federations have to pay themselves for national teams who is going out to represent the nation, are we talking about there's a good relationship?
No.
Who's taking responsibility for who? Now, we as the federations, I'm not only talking about football, all the other federations, we are taking the burden, we are carrying the burden on behalf of the government. So that means there is now a commitment, political will from the government to enhance football.
So that is that what you think it is at the moment, or to enhance sport at all?
That's, you can see it from the budget. The budget has been cut for the past 3-4 years with 37%. It is supposed to increase by 50% plus, but it has been cut with 37%. Is that what you are saying? Is that national building? Is that how you want to look after the youth?
Okay.
One of the things that I would like to also bring is the role players in this, and these are the football administrators as well. They are so much important in terms of making sure that we reach that professionalism. So in this moment in time, I wouldn't say that it is quite clear who the administrators are who will lead us towards that goal, because you mentioned 3 to 4 years, but what would your wish be in terms of the next few months, in terms of making sure that we take a step ahead towards that professionalism?
Okay, let's start from where we are currently. The first thing is that we need to harmonize our football. So to harmonize our football is that we need to understand that there is a center point from where football should be run, and that's NFA. I know that NFA can't take control of whole of football, but there must be association with all the others, which is not with NFA, especially your rural football and so on. So once we organize our relationships, then the first thing is, let's use the opportunity now and say, colleagues, while we are playing football, let's start with the basics. Let's start with basic training for administrators, leaders, especially so that we can have leaders out of the current administrators. You see, one of the things that people, there's always an outcry of people saying that, yeah, who must come and lead football? If you don't have the basic knowledge of football, how do you want to become a leader in football? So it starts with you, start from the bottom, where you can be involved on a club level. From the club level, you go to the member level. And from the member level, then you can reach the high level of national leadership. But you don't want to be part of those structures, but you are willing to become a president or executive member. Does it really make sense? Is there any logic in it? Yes. So we would like to take shortcuts, and at the end of the day, you want to say that people are discriminating against you. Where in the world have you found that without coming through a system, that you reach the highest position?
Okay. Mr. Vries, you sound like a well-vested man in this whole football issue, and you sound like a person that knows quite a lot. Could this signal some of your way up going to probably being part of some structures ahead?
My man, for me, it's not about me. One thing I don't like is to talk about me. Let me talk about football, because I'm part of football. I'm not standing outside football, or I'm not in top of football. I'm part of those who are, and have the passion for football. I've been volunteering for the past 30 years in football. So for me, it's not about a position. It's what I can contribute to football. So I'm not defined by a position. I'm defined by what I can contribute towards football.
Okay, thank you so much.
It's a pleasure, my man.
Well, what a lengthy one. That was Mabos Vries. The man is very serious in terms of stating about professional football and professionalism. Well, on the other side, we do understand that Namibia Premier League, the expelled Namibia Premier League, said that they're already planning to have a professional league. But Mabos is clearly stating that there is still a long way to go before we can achieve that dream of professional football. It's starting at infrastructure, harmony, and that as well lays down to the politicians in the government to bring funding towards Namibian football, as well as producing a brand, a proper brand to sell that to corporate Namibia. Well, we will go now for our next session, and that's the likes of Xavier Papo, who is the sports star of this week. We'll take you through to Xavier's Papo interview done by Limba Mupetami. Papo will be cycling in the Nedbank Cycle Challenge this coming weekend. Please sit back and enjoy.
Xavier, can you just talk to us a little bit about last weekend's race that you took part in?
Goeiemiddag, is baie eer om hier te wees. Eerstens wil ek net sê ja, dit was 'n goeie reis en ja, maar die reis was baie hard om eerlikwaar te wees en soos ek het dit nie verwag of ek het dit eintlik verwag om te wen en so aan, maar ongelukkig het ek eintlik geval op die reis en dit het my eintlik gemaak dat ek nou die voorste bands verloor het. So, en om die hele op te catch was het 'n bietjie baie hard, omdat dit regtig waar groot ouens is, van as jy vir JP, vir Hugo aan, en veral soos Driekus Kutsie wat nou current onze national champ is. So, om vir hulle terug te ry, is baie swaar as jy op jou eie moet ry.
Okay, now speaking about the upcoming Netball Cycle Challenge, what can some of your fans maybe expect?
Soos nou kan ek eerlikwaar sê wat om te expect van dit sal 'n harde reis wees en soos jy dink altyd jy is 'n goeie klimmer en dan kom verbaas 'n groot unit en klim baie sterker as jy. Soos ek gesê het, Driekus, Hugo en JP, Gerard, allei manne, Alex, ek glo Alex sal ook hier so wees. So, hulle is redelik baie sterk ouens. Vir soos een van ons wat moet werk en fiets ry, is dit eintlik 'n bietjie baie swaar om net fiets te ry. Om te kompeteer teen Hugo en Alex. Maar op hierdie stadium voel ek eintlik baie goed. Soos ek het ook die vorige naweek goed gevoel, maar net ongelukkig oor my val was dit nou nie so nice nie. Maar ja, dit sal 'n redelike baie vinnige reis wees om met hulle te ry.
And most of you guys are now fighting for spots for the Commonwealth Games.
Ja, dit is eintlik waar, nee. Soos die afgelope 2 jaar het ek nie so goed geperform nie omdat ek 'n knie injury gehad het. So toe ek ook my sponsors verloor, net daaroor en toe ek dit 'n bietjie stadig gevat tot laas jaar so middel die jaar toe en toe begin ek perform ek eers weer, toe begin ek kry podiumposisies en ja, en die jaar toe begin ek perform ek net omdat ek in die selection is vir die Commonwealth Games, soos en dis eintlik hard om teen Gerard, Driekus, Alex, Hugo, Dan Craven en Ingram te beklei en wat redelik baie sterk ons is en ek probeer maar net om 'n spot te kry vir die Commonwealth Games en so ja wat redelik hard is, maar die afgelope paar races wat ek so ver gery het was redelik baie goed.
Okay, thank you so much, Xavier.
As 'n plesier.
Welcome back. That was Xavier Papo, well, a cyclist who is very, very important in the cycling fraternity. Well, he says that he is ready to pack a punch and to cycle. That's an important Netball Cycle Challenge. We will now go for a short break, and after the break, we cross over to our international correspondent, that's Ari Wochnat, who brings us the latest on the world of international sport.
It's going to spin out to Morris now, and it's tucked home!
Get in! Who scored? I did. Sports fans know, whether you bet a little or a lot, with PST Bet, you're not just watching, you're playing. Yes! Who won? Me! And with over 1 million paid out to winners each month, your life can get very interesting. So kick things off by going to pstbet.com. And if you don't get your winnings within 1 business day, we'll double it. Why watch when you can play at pstbet.com?
Good day, everyone. It's time to talk international sport, and we start again with the Winter Olympics currently taking place in Beijing, China. It's the 24th Winter Olympics, and we start off with cross-country skiing. It was the sprint final, and we start off with the women's result, and there it was Jonna Sandling from Sweden. She won. She's 27 years old, and that was her first gold medal, and she was quite a distance in front of a fellow countryman also from Sweden, that is Maja Dahlqvist. She was 2.8 seconds ahead of Dahlqvist when Sandling won. So gold medal in the cross-country skiing women's sprint went to Jonna Sandling of Sweden. And we stay with the cross-country skiing, the sprint final. This time it's the men's result. It was Johannes Klebo of Norway that was the winner. He was just in front of Federico Pellegrini of Italy. The difference there between first and second was just 26 hundredths of a second, and a great achievement from Johannes Klebo. He was the winner in 2018. He won the gold medal in South Korea, and interestingly enough, Federico Pellegrini of Italy was also second in South Korea. Again, the same result this time around, and a great result for Johannes Klebo. He had COVID-19 just before the Olympic Games. He was cleared to participate. His coach had to stay at home, but still Johannes Klebo was strong enough, and he won gold in the cross-country men's skiing sprint final. Let's continue with some tennis news, and staying in China, it is related to the Chinese women's tennis player Peng Shuai, and at least it seems like she's safe at the moment. There was concerns for the past few months of her safety. She made statements on internet, on posts on the internet, that she was forced into a relationship with a former Chinese party leader, and that was concerned that she was all of a sudden quiet and what happened to her. It was also the Women's Tennis Association that made a big statement a month ago that said they cancel all tournaments that was going to take place in China. They first want to know about the safety of this player. So Peng Shuai, she made contact with an interview with L'Equipe magazine, that is the publication in France, and there she said it was a huge misunderstanding, the earlier post, and she claimed that everything is fine at the moment. The tennis world is still a bit skeptic, so hopefully Peng Shuai of China is safe. And staying with tennis, there's two tournaments taking place in the men's circuit at the moment, one in the Netherlands and one in the USA. In the Netherlands, in Rotterdam, it is the ABN AMRO World Tournament. It is part of the ATP 500 series, and the news from the tournament is that Stefanos Tsitsipas, he beat Alejandro Furcano of Spain, and that was a tight game. He beat him by 7-5, 6-7 and 6-4. That was in the round of 32. And also in the USA, in the Dallas Open, that's the ATP 250 tournament, there South African Kevin Anderson had a good win. He beat Sam Querrey of America, and the score in that game was 6-4, 6-4 in favor of Kevin Anderson. And to conclude today's international sport, let's look at some football news, some soccer news. There were some midweek games in the English Premier League. There was a good win for Newcastle, and there was still a challenge for Manchester United. They continue to battle at the moment. They again had a draw. But let's start with the Newcastle game. It was Newcastle that beat Everton, and they beat them by 3-1. That was at home, and that means that Newcastle is out of the bottom three on the English Premier League list. The bottom three at the moment is Norwich, Watford and Burnley. It is the same Burnley that played against Manchester United, and the result at Burnley was 1-all. So not a good result for Manchester United. That means they fall away out of the top four on the English Premier League at the moment. They're in the 5th position. They've got 39 points after 23 games, and in 4th position at the moment is West Ham with 24 games played, and they've got 40 points. Other midweek game that was played was West Ham United, and they beat Watford. The score there was 1-0. So with that, I conclude the international sport news. I hope everybody is enjoying the Winter Olympics in Beijing in China. Till we talk again tomorrow, have a great day. Goodbye.
And succeed with PST Bet.
So, where were we?
PST Bet. You play, we pay. Not for persons under the age of 18.
That is all we had for you today. Do not forget to catch us again live, same place tomorrow. And that's it from me, Jesse Jackson Kauraitha. Ciao.